Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the MikeWagnerShow@gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking our budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also, you get to hear on Stitcher and other devices. Also on Shoutbox, Overcast. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here with a wonderful woman from Atlanta, Georgia. She's a singer, vocal coach, and owner of Tara Simon Studio, and she was a top finalist of the XFactor back in the day. She's had several hits on iTunes, sang for President Trump, Governor Rick Scott, and more. And her motto is to sing smarter and not harder. And she's going to demonstrate some of that. And she's also going to be talking about, a lot of great things about the X Factor and her move to New York, and also going to school, and maybe perhaps sing a little bit. And also she performed some great people. So live, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, in the Peachtree State, ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented Tara Simon. Tara, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. What a great intro.
Well, I supposedly get paid to do that, so you got to make people feel good. So, so you're out of Atlanta, Georgia, and you're a singer, vocal coach, and owner of Tara Simon Studios. You're a top finalist of the X Factor in the second season, moved to New York at your 18th birthday. You've had several hits on iTunes and more. You sang for President Trump, Rick Scott, etc. And you have a very special motto. And before we get into all that, tell us how I got started.
So I have been singing on stage since I was 3, and I've been singing in my car seat since I was 10 months old, I guess. So my mom said. My first time I ever sang was in church, and I remember it to this day. I remember distinctly, and I don't remember a lot of memories at a young age, but I do remember that. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This is what I'm meant to do. It's my sweet spot. And it never changed. When you're growing up and people make you, like teachers say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Fill out this paper. It never changed. All my friends like changed a million times. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. So here I am, and I'm a singer.
Oh, my goodness. And you're still writing it. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. And I bet you're writing this down right now as we speak. Or someone say, hey, Tex, I'm a singer. I can imagine that.
Yeah, someone say it out loud. Right?
So what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into what you're doing? What's that one precise moment you could think of?
Yeah. So the trajectory of being a singer was easy, and it was, it's a selfish act to pursue singing, because you are promoting yourself, right? So there's a certain element of selfishness to it, and it's necessary and it's a good thing. But when I became a coach, the moment for me when I transitioned or added that to my arsenal of offerings and tools. I was sought out by a mother of a young boy who had Down syndrome, and it wasn't even for voice lessons. It was for piano lessons, and because I play and I write music as well. And she said all of the places that we've gone to have told us no because of his disability and because his hands are small. But my son is a prodigy, and all moms think that about their kid. And so I said, well, all right, you know what, bring him over. Let me hear him play. And so they did, like, the next day. And this boy sat on my baby grand piano, and I don't remember what piece he played, but it was like harder than something I could sit down and play at the time. And I looked at her and I looked at Peter, it was his name. And I said, listen, I'm going to be real straight with you here. He is more talented as far as natural talent is concerned than I am. But I can promise you one thing. I will never be easy on him, and I will never tell him he can't, because he absolutely can. Something just like really bothered me about the fact that not just one person, but many people took someone and prejudged them based on how they look, based on how a disability, and said, no, you can't. And that is so like the world. And I felt this huge urge to help those who have been told no, and to be an encouragement and a sense of direction, motivation for them to say, forget those people. They're only projecting their own limitations on you. Yes, you can, and let me help you. And you may be better than me in certain aspects, but I'm going to guide you, and I'm going to be that person, that cheerleader, that confidant who's saying, don't listen to anybody else. Listen to the voice inside of yourself. Listen to me. Listen to people who encourage you. Only good, never bad. And so really my love for pouring into others came from Peter. And I honestly attribute the fact that I even have a studio at all to my relationship with him.
Wow, that is something. And how long ago was this before you got into to teaching your first student who had a disability and did a great job? And how long ago was that? Like, say that was a transition from singer over to a coach.
Yeah. So, well, actually, my very first student, you mentioned first student, my very first student was my mom's housekeeper when I was 14 years old. So I had been coaching and singing pretty much all my life. But
wow.
The heart behind coaching, I did it before just to do something, but the heart behind really feeling like it was a calling was with Peter. And that was, that was about 9 years ago now. Wow. Yeah.
And you're going strong as well, too. And also, who are some of the your favorite artists and singers you listened to growing up, and who are some of your influences that made you today?
Yeah, that's easy. So Sandy Patty, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and I would say Christina Aguilera would be the top four. I mean, when I would grow up singing, I would sing everywhere. And one of the places I would sing all the time in Florida where I grew up was the Breakers or Mar-a-Lago for all these high-end events. And I would have to wake up so early because, for instance, the Chamber of Commerce meetings meets at 8, and I would sing the national anthem there before it really commenced at the very beginning of the meeting. So I'd be up at like 5:36, and I remember, my mom putting me into the tub because I was little, like 6, 7, and I would listen to Mariah Carey's album on repeat, and that's how I'd warm up.
Oh, wow.
Her album.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that is something as well, too. And we'll talk about your XFactor experience and more of your experiences. Listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iPlay, or iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. Also on Stitcher and others like Shoutbox, Overcast, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here at the Atlanta, Georgia-based singer, vocal coach, and owner of Tara Simon Studios. Tara Simon, she's a top finalist of the XFactor. I was back in 2011 or 2012, somewhere around there. She's had several hits, sang for President Trump, Rick Scott, and more. And she also has a model, which I'll tell you about in just a second. And I'd like to hear about your story about the X Factor and tell us how you got in and how'd you end up being a finalist.
Oh, gosh. Wow. Okay. So it's not what you think, actually. I was not trying to be on any nationally televised vocal competition. A friend of mine, his mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and we wrote a song for her called Beauty Queen, and people loved it. But at the time, I was just starting out in a marriage, and money was not something that was growing on trees. And so to record more, I did a Kickstarter campaign to make more songs like that, and it got fully funded. But one of the gentlemen that contributed the most, he didn't want any of my rewards that I was offering on Kickstarter. He just, as a reward, wanted me to audition for every single one of these nationally televised talent competitions. And I'm like, well, that doesn't serve you at all. But I mean, if that's what you want, I will. I don't really want to, but I will. And I did America's Got Talent first. I didn't make it past the first callback. And then the very next one in the schedule was X Factor. And I never seemed to win anything. And so I was just going through the motions, really, thinking like, I'm just going to get passed through like I usually do. And I kept getting called back and called back and called back. And I ended up on the show. That's really, it started from a song. It was not like, oh, let me try to be famous here and get on a show. It just, I was paying someone back, essentially.
That was amazing, too. And what was it like being in front of Simon Cowell?
Oh, Simon loved me. I'm just his type. No, I mean, actually, he's a nice guy. They all are. There's a big, huge sense, actually, of just character development, so to speak, in those shows. There's really nothing about reality to the T in its truest form there. I mean, it's very much scripted. It's very much highly edited. I was very disappointed, actually, in the lack of integrity they showed in their editing. I was painted to be the villain, and that's just couldn't be farther from who I am in my nature. And there were others who that was their nature, and they painted them to be just really nice guys with a hard shell. And it just, I don't know why they spent all that time in the editing room making people who they weren't, but they did. And so it was a pretty great experience while filming, but seeing it on television, it ended up being a pretty sad experience for me. I just feel like they were trying to make drama where there wasn't. And a lot of the contestants on the show felt the same way. It didn't last. Unfortunately, the seasons didn't go past, I think, like the third or fourth season in America because of that. There was a lot of character assassination going on.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it just hurts to be, being dragged in and whatsoever. And were they trying to outdo America's Got Talent or American Idol? Were they trying to outdo that or something, or try too hard?
I did hear one of the executive producers saying that they were going for a very avant-garde film and editing approach that was different from other competitions. And so perhaps by being ruthless that way, they were trying to get more dirt or get juicier. I mean, they would slide microphones under people's chairs and
oh my gosh.
And film people who didn't know they were being filmed and shoot from behind trees. I mean, it was very much like people were wired. People were wires. Contestants agreed to wear wires to try to get other contestants to say other things on camera when they didn't know they were being filmed. And that's just not, it's a vocal competition, why are you doing that? So perhaps they were trying to come out with a juicier, dramatic through line, but it did not. I don't think it played in their favor. It didn't last very long.
What is that considered illegal to do that, or did you have to sign an agreement or anything like that?
Good question. Yes, it is technically by the Constitution is illegal. However, if you're going to continue on the rounds, the contract gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And I'll never forget, as I was watching myself be falsely represented on national television, the clause I read that I still can recite to this day verbatim, and it said, "We reserve the right to defame or defraud your character or likeness in any way we see fit, and you relinquish all rights to defend yourself." And I thought, that's fine. What would they do to me anyway? I mean, I'm a nice person. Like, they can't, what would they say anyway? And then I saw the show and I was like, oh, dear God. They sure did.
The only thing I could say at this point, thank God I don't sing. I'll tell you that. And I'm probably not being judged by Simon Cowell right now. And hopefully he doesn't watch me try to sing or have microphones stuck under me. I mean, I've got like maybe, guard dogs, guard cats, and everything else. So, oh, boy.
Yeah,
I mean, you've just about seen it all. But then after the XFactor experience, you went on to perform with Sugarland, Brittany Spears, Justin Bieber, L.A. Reid, and President Trump and Governor Rick Scott. And tell us all about that and what's it like singing with them?
So actually, Brittany, Justin, and LA, they were all from XFactor, singing for them and in front of them. And so I grew up in Florida and singing for President Trump now, but he wasn't president then. I frequented Mar-a-Lago all the time and would sing for all sorts of events that they would have. I was sort of growing up like the local, young celebrity talent here, and would be called on all the time to sing. It's not that hard to do. I mean, West Palm is not that huge of a place, so yeah. I mean, I had lots of opportunities to sing for who now is President Trump, Governor Rick Scott for his reelection about, I think it was about 6 years ago now, when he was going for reelection and won. I flew down to Florida for that and sang an original song called Amber Waves of Grain for his reelection campaign. And that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, I've done some demo work for Sugarland, and I've actually done some demo work for Reba McEntire too, but that's not on there, which is funny because I'm not necessarily a country singer, but I can sound like I'm country if I want to. So yeah, I've had lots of opportunities, and being in Fame on Broadway was amazing. 8 shows a week. We actually did the European tour, so we did 9 shows a week because we were sold out every night. And wow. That was a lot. That was a lot. I remember like not feeling like I could feed myself enough because I was like just starving and dancing and singing for sometimes 6 hours a day. Was a lot, but it was wonderful and great training for my vocal chops.
Mm-hmm. Also, you landed the role of Serena Katz as well, too, since you got on Broadway, moved to New York for 18th birthday, and just tell us about that. It must have been a great experience being on Broadway.
It was really great. So I moved to New York the day I turned 18. It just so happened to work like that. And I went to Marymount Manhattan for a year. I was a little underwhelmed with the training there. I had great training in high school. I went to a performing arts high school called Dreyfus School of the Arts in West Palm. And when I went to college, I realized how far advanced they were in their training, because I was kind of bored, to be honest with you, my first year of college. And so I took the year off after that and said, I'm already here. I'm just going to audition for Broadway. It's what I wanted to do anyway. I really kind of like, if you can sing and dance and act, like, you don't really need school for that. It's not like I'm a doctor, So I convinced my parents to let me take a year off, and I landed my, not just a role, but the lead role of the show. And that was big. It was my first role and my first lead role at the same time. And something interesting happened, though, when I was on the show. I'd been groomed for Broadway all my life, and I had won in state at School of the Arts as a solo vocalist, and all of these things were like, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. You're supposed to do Broadway, and everybody's like, oh, your name's gonna be in lights, all this stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. And it finally was, and I was on the stage, and 2 months into it, the curtain goes up, and I'm yawning. And
yawning? Oh, no. Boy, choose a lesser of two evils. Yawning or just nerves and cold feet. It's like lesser of two evils. Choose which one.
How about none? How about, I mean, it wasn't I wished for nerves. I wished for excitement. I wished for energy. And I performed energy. I can turn it on, but like I was bored. And that's not okay in your first show as a lead 2 months in. I mean, some people play roles on Broadway for years. And I'm not the type of person to be bored, period. There was something missing. And I was so bothered by that. And I did not know what it was at the time. I later found out that it was just simply because, yes, I can sing and I am meant to entertain and I do still perform. However, music has always been more personal to me than just performing for masses and getting massive applause and all that. It's really been about like missions-based music. It's really been about reach one, teach one, and impacting an individual's life that I can see their face and see the progress and move them personally than it is for the masses. And I'm not saying that can't be someone else's calling, and it is, and they're wonderful at it if they're in their sweet spot, but it wasn't mine. And I had a really hard time realizing that because, again, I was the voice, I had the look, I had the ability to dance, and I had all the ingredients to be a Broadway star. But after that first show, I was like, I'm done.
It's like, next.
Thank you, next. Kind of, yeah. I mean, I knew that was something I could continue doing. And once you do one show, I mean, all the offers come rolling. And I had so many offers after that to do private auditions for so many other things, Hairspray, Fiddler on the Roof, so many other things. But I couldn't believe that my heart wasn't in it, but it wasn't. And I was like, well, I don't even know, like, what to do now, but I just know that this is missing the mark, just left of center for me. And I don't want my life to be about moving forward in a left of center. I want my sweet spot. I want to be right in the middle. And so I had to take that leap of faith and say, this is scary. This makes no sense. Nobody gets it, but this is not who I'm meant to be all my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something too, and of course, you end up in coaching as well too. And before we get into your coaching and your studio, you listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and Stitcher. You can also tune into Shoutcast, Shoutbox, as well as other platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. We're here at Atlanta-based singer, vocal coach, and owner of Tara Simon Studios. Tara Simon, she was the top finalist of the XFactor, had several hits on iTunes and performed the likes of Sugarland, Brittany Spears, Justin Bieber, President Trump, and Governor Rick Scott, and also has a studio as well, too, which, of course, we mentioned, Tara Simon Studios. And you can just tell us all about that, and what do you have to offer for us?
So TSS is a full-service performing arts studio. We teach lessons worldwide online via Skype or whatever other, online platform people would prefer, but Skype is generally the most popular. And we have a brick and mortar in Atlanta, and one soon to open up actually in West Palm as well. I kind of straddle both states now these days. And we do private everything. So that's our specialty, is private one-on-one. Again, reach one, teach one, look you in the eyes, make that individual impact. So we do private vocal lessons. It's definitely our bread and butter because of my career and my methodology. We do private piano lessons, private guitar lessons, private songwriting lessons, artist development. We have a full service recording studio on site in our Atlanta branch. And that's a lot of fun. We do all sorts of cumulative things too. So if a singer comes to us and they're doing wonderful with singing and they want to learn how to songwrite, or they want to learn how to play and songwrite, play an instrument and songwrite, they can, our coaches are so multi-talented, and they're all working professionals. They're all hand trained by me. They can do interdisciplinary art areas and kind of add or move in between them as they like. So our lessons are once a week. We do either hour sessions or half-hour sessions. And all of our coaches, it's hard for me to find coaches. I could have a lot more based on the demand, but I only have a few because I first find them performing out or doing something that's desirable that someone else that's taking lessons would want to do. And then I approach them after a while of kind of stalking them and find out if they have a heart to coach. And if they do, then I start to train them. And it's months of training before they ever come in contact with one of our students. So it's quite extensive, and we continue to educate them actually while they're coaches. We have bi-monthly meetings where I continue to educate them and pour into them so that they're getting fresh new information to pour into the students as well.
Wow, that's something. A programming thing for coaching. That is amazing. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That is amazing, too. And what are some of the other services you offer?
So we did offer voiceover and acting, but we've been so busy with the music side, we decided to cap that. And one of the main reasons is because this year I have been focusing on my online course. It's called Sing Smarter, Not Harder. It's based off of the vocal methodology that I've created. It's proprietary to me. And the 8-week course is really cool because for those who may not be able to fit private lessons into their budget or schedule, the 8-week course is basically the same methodology that we coach in the private lesson, but it's automated. It's all video of me. So if people are fans of mine on YouTube, it's basically me like that in front of a camera going through over 45 different modules of education within the 8 weeks. And right now it's on sale for $197, and you can even make 2 payments. And that includes 2 free months of the Vocal Gym, which is a private paid face group membership based group. And it's amazing. The group in there is so cool. Like the people there are so supportive, and they can ask questions if they're in the course. Even if they're not in the course, they can join the group. It's $10 a month after the first 2 months. But the online course is really cool. It's 8 weeks long, and I'm about to, in November this month, develop a second course. It's going to be a 4-week-long course, kind of to piggyback on top of the 8 weeks. So assuming that you've done that one and you've got the foundation of singing down, this one is about the harder stuff, like really hard stuff, like how to riff and run and do vocal acrobatics and ornamentations with your voice that you hear singers like Christina, Mariah, Whitney, Pink, all of the great singers that you love, Jennifer Hudson, all of the great power singers, even like Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake, all of those singers. How do they do that with their voice, and how you can do that with your voice? And I break it down into a way that is pretty awesome, to be quite honest. And I've never actually had someone not be able to do it based on what I'm about to tell them in the course. So it's a pretty great success rate so far.
That is amazing, too. And you also have a roster of singers as well, too. You can just tell us about them as well.
Yeah, so we coach anybody from 3 all the way up. I literally currently have a 75-year-old student in my personal weekly schedule. And I know that we have some amazing young kids that are up-and-comers that are 100% going to be on Broadway and be doing things. A couple of our notable students that you may recognize, one is Angelica Hale. She is the 2-time Golden Buzzer winner on America's Got Talent. Nice. They came to me when she had just found out she was getting on the show, getting called back on the show. And I've been with her ever since. I actually just saw her today. She's recording her Christmas album in Atlanta, and I was coaching her on one of her songs that she's in the studio for on day 1 of her recording for that's going to be released. But Angelica was also on AGT Champions, and just is a wonderful girl. She's a hard worker. She performs worldwide now. Her parents are super supportive and all in with her career. And so she just flits around everywhere and is performing. And so there's constant material to work on with her. And I design personally all of her vocal mapping, which is what I call the riffs and runs, and the melodic lines in the song that gets changed or deviated from the original is something that I create for her and teach her to do. And she's such a quick learner and such a hard worker. It's a joy to teach her. Another one of our students that you may have noted is Lauren Lott. Lauren was the the lead role in the Tony Award-winning Broadway musical Once on This Island. And she went on to also perform in Born for This, which is an off-Broadway show. She was on The Young and the Restless as a reoccurring lead until recently, when she decided that she was going to then move on from that and film a pilot for Oprah. Yeah.
Oh, my.
We're just going to go film for Oprah. It's fine. So she just wrapped that, actually, and it's going to be released in 2020. And so she's now looking for the next thing. We're trying to get her into some feature films and then probably some more Broadway in the next year or so. But she's constantly working. She's doing great things. And I have an up-and-comer named Cubby Rupers. She's been with me for years and years. She just moved to New York for college. She's kind of in the same place I was at 18, and I give her 2 years, and she'll be on Broadway, tops.
That is amazing. Wow, you've got a lineup that keeps growing and growing and growing. That is amazing. Wow.
We're super proud.
Yes, and also, how can one person get with your program?
Absolutely. So if you're in the nation, like in the U.S., you can call 404-437-7919, or you can visit TaraSimonStudios.com. You can click the contact information there, or you can just email info@TaraSimonStudios. And you can also info@TaraSimonStudios.com, and you can reach out to us on any of our social media platforms too, and we'll be happy to help.
And how about if they're overseas?
If they're overseas, I would suggest emailing unless you want to make an international call, but we're really responsive in our emails. So info@TaraSimonStudios.com would be sufficient. Or you can Instagram us, or, reach out to us through something like Facebook or something like that is fine too.
That is fantastic. We'll recap what you do and everything else in a little bit. And of course, I just had something that just came to mind here. What was like the most interesting moment or the most funniest that you've ever been in?
Wow. On stage or off?
It can be both. Whatever you like. You can choose. It's okay.
The most interesting or funny moment I've ever been in. That's like a really good question, and something I feel like I needed to think about. Well, I'll tell you what. Not funny, but interesting. And for whatever reason, this comes to mind. I mentioned how I grew up singing at the Breakers in Mar-a-Lago. And there was this one time where my mom dressed me up in these ridiculous cupcake looking dresses, right? Like I'm talking like, I still have a bow, but like I'm talking huge Minnie Mouse bow, 3-layer dresses. She would make them herself. And I had finished performing, and one of the presidents of the Chamber of Commerce wanted me to sit next to him. He really loved me. He was like a grandfather to me. And I was sitting next to him, and it was like sort of like when you're married and you face the audience, you're up on this pedestal and you face the audience. And I don't know what on earth went wrong, but I drank some orange juice and then I had to throw up. Like, I knew it was coming and I could not hold it back. And so I like excused myself from the table, and I'm walking around, and I'm literally right in the front where like is most visible to everybody that's looking. And it just all came out, like just projectile. And my mom like kicked off her heels and like ran to grab me. And all of the wait staff there was just like on the floor cleaning up this mess. And it was terrible. That was definitely probably one of those interesting performing moments of my life.
Well, the good thing it didn't happen on Broadway, that's for sure. So
yeah, there's no way to put that into the script for sure.
Oh my gosh, I have to put in my archives, I'll tell you that. And who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
Well, my entrepreneurial side and spirit definitely has a lot to do with the way I was raised and the way I watched my parents grow up. They're entrepreneurs themselves and very hardworking, and so I looked up to them a lot. As far as my musical career is concerned, I've had some pretty high-profile vocal coaches in my lifetime. I've trained with Christina Aguilera's vocal coach, multiple people from the Metropolitan Opera. I'm trained classically as a coloratura. Lots and lots of celebrity coaches, but the one who impacted me the most was this little Southern belle who coached from her home named Angela, and she is not a notable coach as far as high-profile credentials, but she did the most for me vocally. And I just loved her, and she really impacted me a lot. And I think of her often when I coach, and as even though I've coached with all sorts of really high profile, high name people, she's the one that I try to be most like.
That is fantastic. And one more question before we wrap up here. You've been fantastic. Like to have you on again soon. If President Trump today were asked you to sing at the White House, would you do it?
That's very funny that you asked me that, because I just started a bucket list 3 days ago. I got a new journal and I wrote, and one of the things on my bucket list, I intentionally made some goals bigger than I knew I could accomplish on my own. So it would have to be a God thing if it happened. And one of the comments on my bucket list was that I wanted to sing for a presidential inauguration.
Nice.
Just throwing it out there.
That is nice. Okay, well, keep that in mind and keep track as well, too. And if President Trump does get reelected, we just hope you don't say to your face, you're fired. It's like, well, I just hope he doesn't say those words to you.
I don't think he would dare. We go way back.
That's a good thing. Good thing. And Tara Simon, the area singer, vocal coach, owner of Tara Simon Studios, my special guest on Mike Wagner Show. Thank you very much, Tara. And before we wrap up here, tell us once again your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people find your classes?
Yeah, for sure. So you can find all things Tara Simon Studios at TaraSimonStudios.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel for free vocal tutorials, awesome vocal coaching reactions, and a wonderful new series I started called Sing Better in Seconds, where I go up to random people and teach them how to sing better in literally seconds, to prove to people that you actually can get better. It's not magic. You're not born with it. You don't have to be anyway. So check me out on YouTube, Tara Simon Studios, Instagram, Tara Simon Studios, Twitter, Tara Simon Sings, I think is what it is. And Facebook, of course, Tara Simon Studios. If you want to reach out for lessons, you can call 404-437-7919 or email info@TaraSimonStudios.com. And all things vocal coaching, piano, voice, artistic development, songwriting, anything like that, anything music related we do, and we would be happy to help you.
Fantastic. We'll keep that in mind. And Tara, just want to give a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you on again soon. And do everybody a favor, keep us up to date.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Mike.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.